This was brutal to watch as the Chicago Bulls get beat by the Houston Rockets. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's game. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so, look, the Chicago Bulls get beat by the Houston Rockets 143-107. This was just a beatdown as the Houston Rockets did anything that they wanted to do to the Chicago Bulls. And there's not a whole bunch to really shine light on as far as the positivity for the Chicago Bulls. But let's go ahead and jump into the box score and really get the story of this particular game. And so when you look at the Houston Rockets, you look at their side of the box score, you can see that there are a lot of pluses in that plus-minus box score for the Houston Rockets. Their starters, I think that they played incredible. I think that they did a terrific job as far as beating the Chicago Bulls in every part of the game, whether it was fast break, inside, outside, you name it, the Houston Rockets did it. And Van Fleet was coming down on the fast break, hitting three-point shots. He was getting into the lane. He was drawing contact and getting to the line that way. And then also, too, the way that he was really orchestrating the Houston Rockets and making sure that they were playing at the right pace. I thought that you got a chance to see really how his championship experience translates to a younger team. And this is what you want to see from a team like that you have built up this way. Like, this is what the Chicago Bulls really need to take notes on, because the way that they have built up this team is exactly what the Chicago Bulls need to do with their roster. They need to go to work. And I like that Houston has really done the work. They've taken the lumps. They've invested into their younger players. And now you see these type of results. And it looks like this team is going to be a force in the West. And so, with the Chicago Bulls, there is a lot of minuses in our plus-minus box score. I mean, starting with Patrick Williams, I was looking for some momentum from Patrick Williams tonight. We didn't get a chance to see that. 7 points. He had an assist. He had 1 rebound, but he had 3 turnovers, -24. But the turnovers, they were bad. It was kind of like the turnovers that we'd seen before, where he's dribbling off his foot. One time he got it knocked from behind, and that was a turnover. So that was tough to see from Patrick Williams. I thought maybe he would maybe take another step forward after we saw a couple good games, but it did not happen. And that's where we get frustrated with Patrick Williams. But it wasn't all about just individual play. As a team, the Chicago Bulls were terrible. Zach LaVine is the only starter that was in double figures tonight with 15 points, 1 assist, 5 rebounds, and he had a -36. Vooch struggled as well. I think that with Vooch, he was trying to establish the post position, but I think that we got into just trying to chase points, really going for the home run ball. I think we got away from Vooch. And Vooch also, too, was getting worked on the defensive end. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. I think that this was his worst game with us this season. And then Coby White, I think the major takeaway from him is just over-penetrating. I think that Stacey King talks about that throughout the broadcast, that he thought that Coby White had some layups, and maybe he did. And I think instead of chasing after the points, I get that you want the 3 ball, but you've got to take those easier points. And I think that once the Chicago Bulls understand that, once they trust themselves, once they get better as a team, they're going to understand how to really dismantle teams inside out, because you saw what the Houston Rockets were able to do. It was an inside out type of deal. And that's what happens when you become a better team. The Chicago Bulls aren't there. Hopefully they learn from this, especially Coby White. I think that he's done this in multiple games, but he's got to look at the film. He's got to stop going and trying to get the 3 ball all the time and start to take some of the layups. Josh Giddy, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, -19. The key takeaway for me about Josh Giddy is just that he turns into a little bit more of a spot-up shooter, and that's not necessarily his game at all. You want him to be a little bit more of a playmaker, and he's playing off the ball a little bit much, and it just didn't work out tonight. And I think that that's something that really probably hurt his game tonight. But again, just the Chicago Bulls as a whole really, really struggled. As far as the bench is concerned, Ayo 9.6 assists. He had 2 rebounds. He was minus 9 or 17, excuse me. So he did some good things out there, but still finished in a minus 17. THT was the best off the bench with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. That was really in garbage time with him showing his ability to get to the rim and just finish and things like that. You had Chris Duarte. He went out there and scored 6 points, showing that, definitely he might be deserving of some minutes. That's something that was talked about in the broadcast. You had Jalen Smith, 5.7 rebounds, plus 10 for him today. So that's a good job of him finishing in the plus 10. And Modest Buzelis, I think, is maybe the MVP or the bright spot out of this really beat down for the Chicago Bulls, because Modest Buzelis, he's showing me development, he's showing me confidence, and he's showing me that he deserves some minutes. 8 points today, 2 rebounds, minus 5, but I just like his confidence. And one of the things that was talked about with him is that he had to become a better 3-point shooter. It seems that is what's really coming along the most. I mean, we love the dunks and things like that, but him and his ability to be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, that's major, because that is one of the major things he had to really fix. And so if he's already fixing that and feeling confident with that, I've got to think that once he becomes stronger, he's going to be able to get to the rim, and he's going to be the one, like Van Fleet, drawing fouls. He's going to be the one in there getting that contact and getting and ones. You could tell he needs to get a bit stronger. There were times defenders were going at him, and he was fighting with everything he could inside, but he's just got to get a bit stronger. But I like the fact that he's out there, he's competing, and Billy Donovan is letting him really play through those mistakes. You've got to do that. With Julian Phillips and then also to Dalen Terry, I think that they came with the energy that they come with, but it just wasn't enough with this team as far as just being impactful like they usually are. I just think as a team, it just wasn't there for them, not a whole bunch. And so, hey, that it is what it is with the bench. Look, DT, he had 4, Julian Phelps 2, and it was just a tough night for us. And so as we look at the team box score and some of the key takeaways from that, just starting really with, the points in the paint. And so we gave up a season high tonight with that. I mean, this was tough to even look at with how many points that we gave up. 80 points to the Rockets, so 80-40 there. The Rockets beat us up pretty badly in that department. And then as far as the fast breaks are concerned, I talked about how the Rockets were able to just really do anything that they wanted to. 32-15 Rockets in fast break basketball today. So they were playing even faster than we were. Beat us up on the board 67-47. They win the rebound totals. And I talked about how this Rockets team is averaging 18.5 points off of second chance rebounds and things like that, or second chance opportunities. So getting the offensive rebounds, they're getting 18.5 points off this. And so they did, like I said, a great job in just beating us in all facets of basketball today. And we didn't help ourselves out with the field goal percentage. You see that we were at 33.6% and then 25% from downtown. Like, we kept trying to look for this 3-point shot. We were relying on it, and it just wasn't there today. And so a tough loss for the Chicago Bulls. And yeah, there's not a whole bunch to take away from this. And so, look, as we get ready to jump out of here, I just want to thank everybody out there for liking, subscribing, and sharing the content. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest as we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers before the end of the season. And I just want to thank you out there for jumping on that live out there. So I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to respond to you guys. I will get a chance to respond to you on the next live. Like I said, we are going to start doing more live post-game shows, and we might even jump into some live pre-game shows, and so we'll have a bit more structure there, obviously a bit more timely. So I appreciate you out there for the ones that did comment out there. I saw you. I just didn't get a chance to get to you, but I will next time. And I just want to thank you out there again for watching the channel. Make sure that you go ahead and subscribe on the or hit the subscribe button for us. There's about 64.2 of you that watch or not subscribed. And look, this is a tough game, no doubt about it. And this is part of the journey for the Chicago Bulls. And like I said at the top, I said it on the live, I've said it here. the only way that the Chicago Bulls are going to get out of the position that they're in is they're going to have to do a major rehaul of this roster, just like the Rockets have done. You're going to have to make some bold decisions like OKC. Like, in order to make those moves and get to a place that you've never gotten to, you've got to do some things that you've never done before. And that means that you got to go to work on this roster. You've got to make sure that the roster makes sense. You got to make sure that, yes, this is the right coach. You got to make sure that you're investing enough into the younger players. And if you are trying to build around a player that you traded for, then you certainly better make sure that you're looking at the long-term plan and how that is going to work out. And so these are things that you see what happens when you do it correctly. That's the Rockets, and that's what the Chicago Bulls need to do. So anyhow, I will see you on the next one. And as usual, I'm saying go Bulls. All right, peace.